We're here to kick off our Earth Week coverage, and we specifically picked the zoo because of the work that's being done here to educate people on Florida's wildlife, as well as the work animal experts do here every single day behind the scenes to rehabilitate animals that are injured, areas the public sometimes never gets to see at all. Whether it's on land or in our vital waterways, the importance of this work is highlighted by the videos of dead dolphins and manatees and hundreds of thousands of fish. Some of the horrible images we've seen splashed across our televisions and social media for far too long. The water crisis in Florida is at a tipping point, possibly beyond. Human-caused pollution, fueling red tides, and killing ecosystems is now the norm. As we kick off Earth Week, ABC Action News reporter Michael Paluska, as well as investigative reporter Kylie McGivern, teamed up to take us on a boat tour through the beating heart of Florida's water system, our natural springs, to show us what we did wrong and what we are doing to make it right.
Kylie and I know how amazing our state is, especially our environment, and you know it pretty well because you're from here.
Yes, I was born and raised here, and you don't have to look far to see why tourists love this area as well. Some of those areas, clear springs, a chance to swim nose to nose with our majestic manatees.
Yeah, and we know those manatees, Kylie, are suffering, and some of our crystal clear natural springs are extremely polluted.
And this is why we went and spoke with one group that has a creative solution to combat this problem.
There is a beauty like no other at Homosassa Springs. Gliding above the crystal clear waters, the world at the surface, peaceful, pristine. We enjoy the warm morning sun on our faces, but that's not why Kylie McGivern and I travel here. We are here to document the hidden darkness lingering below the surface, choking the ecosystem into a slow death.
It starts to decay as a muck, and that muck holds a lot of internal nutrients, creates anoxic conditions.
Right now we're pretty much traveling under what, like 5 feet of muck?
Yeah, anywhere from a couple feet up to 5-6 feet.
What point in time would you say that we're at right now in terms of how bad it is and the need to turn all of this around, doing things like we're doing now?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I would say it's time to act, time to start doing projects. It's time to really put shovel to the sand and start doing things.
Biologist Ryan Brushwood is the project manager for Sea and Shoreline's restoration project at Homosassa Springs, a massive endeavor. Scuba divers spend hours underwater sucking out the muck caused by human pollution. More than a mile of pipes then pump it to a massive dewatering site, where it is cleaned and then flows back into the springs. When the muck is gone, Brushwood's team comes back in behind them, prepping massive cages to load onto boats, then drop into the spring. They are designed to protect acres and acres of aquatic gardens from hungry manatees until that grass can grow and take root into a future feast.
Those residential canals wind up holding a lot of that muck, a lot of the nutrients, and so we try to target those as well. That grass will just pop and those blades will come back, and it's really neat to see the difference in the seasons.
It sounds like the same pride and excitement that a farmer has, like when their crops are growing, it's made it through, like there's hope.
We wanted to watch these underwater farmers in action. The current and sediment makes it hard to see.
And it's not exactly an easy place to do it. You have arguably the highest manatee population in all of Florida in the wintertime because they use these springs as a natural thermal refuge. Manatees eat a lot of seagrass and a lot of plants, but we've shown that it can be done.
That's fun. You can see how challenging it is, and that when they lift up that huge metal container, it looks so easy underwater, but then they got to make sure it doesn't come back down on them.
Right, on top of the plants.
On top of the plants. That's hard work. That's really hard work.
Our divers are really good.
And they're planting about 500 plants a day. They'd have to stay underwater for how long?
Usually our biologists will stay under for about an hour and a half at a time and then rotate out.
So about an hour and a half just sucking on this
Yep.
regulator plant.
Yep.
Nice work.
we've seen, I mean, this is where a lot of the nutrients end up, but they're coming from places people may not even be thinking of. I mean, these farmlands, this isn't just homes along the river.
Things that go on miles and miles away absolutely have an impact in what eventually gets back to our water bodies.
But signs of hope are on the horizon.
They planted 50 acres up in the Crystal River area, and then here in Kings Bay, it naturally expanded, and they got another 50 acres of seagrass that they didn't even touch this water.
It's amazing.
What Kylie and I learned is that our human-caused pollution is reversible. The pilot project here at Crystal River shows that years of that hard work can pay off.
Greatest compliment that we get is when people who were here during that time, who grew up here, come up to us and say, you know, I've never seen the river look this clean. I've never seen this much grass. I've never seen this many manatees, this many big manatees. We want this to be self-sustaining and stay the way it is now.
And move on to the next.
Move on to the next, right? There's plenty of them too, so.
How does it feel to be a part of something, though, where this could be the model for other parts of the state?
It's exciting, incredibly exciting, especially to see it from the beginning where, like I said, we were ecstatic over finding plants this tall that had made it through the winter time, right?
The seagrass does a lot more than just feed these hungry manatees. It also sequesters carbon, cleans the water, and is home to hundreds of thousands of fish. Brushwood says what they did here today can be replicated anywhere in the state tomorrow.
There's manatees on the East Coast that are starving.
Right.
Here, because of your work, they're feasting.
Sure, so the tale of two rivers. You know, the Indian River Lagoon is a big system. It needs a lot of work, but part of that work is definitely to plant seagrass and at least do some pilot projects and try to get it going. Because it needs it desperately. They have a terrible algae problem, a muck problem, a lot of the similar things that we saw here.
Red tide, brown tide.
All, you name it, all the tides.
Everything.
In Crystal River, I'm Michael Paluska with investigative reporter Kylie McGivern and photojournalist Reed Moeller, ABC Action News.